Please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Patrick Delafontaine, Dean of the School of Medicine, and I'm delighted to be here today to welcome you to this graduation ceremony. Like many of you, this is my first graduation ceremony at Mizzou. Indeed, last year, I missed our graduation because I was hooding my own son who was graduating from medical school at Tulane. So I know what many of you are feeling, and I'm delighted to be here. The faculty and I are really delighted to help you celebrate the achievements of someone you love who is about to become a physician. We're going to start by hearing from one of our students who was chosen by his classmates to offer a student welcome. But before that, I would like to hear from all our class of 2016. Is there a doctor in the house? All right. So I want more yelling next time I ask you guys that, because next time you will be a doctor. All right, so it's a pleasure to introduce Joshua Geltman, who again was chosen by his classmates to give the student welcome. Peer selection is truly a special kind of honor. Please join me in welcoming Josh to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, here we are. It's been 1,384 days since we showed up for orientation on July 30th, 2012. Fast forward 33,216 hours filled with endless fun, relaxation, sleep, hobbies, free time, and we're about to be doctors. So, welcome to our graduation. To everyone here, on behalf of the class of 2016, thank you for filling this auditorium today. One of my most important tasks in this speech is to recognize all of you. Families, friends, faculty, and deans, thank you for all the help you've given us along this long and sometimes circuitous path we've taken to get here. Without your unyielding support, this would have been a very different journey and one that was much less fun. All of you have played an immensely important role in helping us to achieve this goal of becoming doctors. We want to recognize you as well as those who could not be here today. We are forever grateful. Though today is only a waypoint, albeit a pretty important one, it affords us the opportunity to reflect on how far we've come in those 1,384 days and helps us gear up for the next 1,000 to come. We've gone through a pretty impressive evolution during our time here, and 1 year was spent trying to figure out how humans are supposed to work and how to decipher lab results. And 2 years, we toiled over memorizing all the ways the human body can go wrong and occasionally how to fix it. And 3 years, we attempted to correctly identify problems and solutions for a real person in real time. We also realized that pretty much everyone else on the floor or in the clinic, especially nurses and occasionally janitors, had a better idea of what to do for a patient than we did. M4 year, we started to feel like we knew what we were doing. We figured out what we wanted to do with our lives, and then we went to the beach. The first day of PBL, working through the first patient case, blank stares dominated the discussion. Now, we can be confident we know how to work through a tough diagnosis, have a meaningful discussion with the patient, successfully identify what's going on, and explain some reasonable steps in treatment backed up with evidence from the literature. Outside of the classroom, many of us have contributed to the medical research through publications and presentations. Many of us have traveled around the globe to bring medical care to those in need. And many of us have advocated for healthcare improvement at the federal, state, and local levels. So be proud and feel good about what you've done here. I think we're all a little overwhelmed by the responsibility inherent in this ancient title of physician. But nevertheless, I think today is an important reminder that we're all well on our way. For those that don't know, I've had the privilege of serving the class for the last 4 years as its president. This position has given me an interesting vantage point onto what our class values in our education through considerable amount of feedback I've received over the years. While some of this could be construed as complaining, I like to think it means we are an enthusiastic group of learners striving for continuous improvement in our medical curriculum. It sounded pretty good, right? My point is that this is not a class that will be satisfied by phrases like, "This is how we've always done it," or "It's against the rules." The challenge for our class will be to retain that desire to question when the current way just doesn't seem right. During residency, we'll all be worked hard and inundated with new information. On top of that, we'll be striving to love and support those we care about. It will be hard. However, this class has a gift for seeing how things can be better, and we'll be doing our patients and profession a disservice if we don't retain that fire to improve. I'm just happy I'm out. Having said all that, I will always remember the fun, humor, and friendship with which we have completed this journey. It's been an honor and a joy to go through medical school with all of you. Congratulations on everything today represents, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the next chapter unfolds for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh. So today marks a very special accomplishment. You have much for which to be proud. You did not make it to this point alone, however. I dare say there are some of you who would not even be here today if it weren't for the love, support, money, and cheerleading of others. Today's joys, tears, and feelings of fulfillment are to be shared. They do not belong exclusively to the graduates. Class of 2016, please rise and turn around to face family and friends. Take a moment to acknowledge those whose love, care, and all manner of support were instrumental in your being here today. Would the parents and or spouses and partners of today's graduates please stand? Would the grandparents, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, any children of the graduates or other relatives, please also stand so that you too may be thanked. Please be seated. There is another large group of people also deserving of the gratitude of our medical student graduates. For without them, no degrees would be awarded today. They are seated behind me. Would the emeritus professors, the faculty, and the administration of the School of Medicine and University of Missouri Healthcare please stand? Please be seated. I'd like to introduce some very special guests who are seated on stage. The first is Hank Foley, Interim Chancellor for the University of Missouri. Pamela Henriksen, Chair of the University of Missouri Board of Curators. William Hines, Class of 1984 and philanthropist. Brian Steiners, Chief Financial Officer for the University of Missouri Healthcare and our School of Medicine. Dr. Frank Romero, Chief Medical Officer at Cox Health in Springfield. Chuck Basie, State Representative for District 47. Stephen Witt, Chief Medical Officer for the University of Missouri Healthcare and Senior Associate Dean for Clinical Affairs at the School of Medicine. And Ted Choma, Chair of University Physicians. Is Ted here today? I think he did not make it. Okay. I would also like you to meet the leaders in the Dean's office who are responsible for all of our excellent education programs and who will be assisting in today's ceremony. Firstly, Dr. Linda Hedrick, Senior Associate Dean for Education, and Helen May Spies Professor of Medicine. Dr. Rachel Brown, Associate Dean for Student Programs. Dr. Kimberly Hoffman, Associate Dean for Curriculum and Assessment. Dr. Jack Gay, Associate Dean for Curricular Improvement. Dr. Kathleen Quinn, Associate Dean for Rural Programs. And last but not least, our new Associate Dean for the Springfield Clinical Campus, Dr. Andy Evans. Now, given an opportunity to select a member of the class to address them on this day, our class of 2016 has chosen Matthew Rendo as our senior class speaker. Please join me in welcoming Matt to the podium.
Good evening, class of 2016, family, and distinguished guests. My name is Matthew Rindo. For the last 8 years, I've been a Tiger. It is truly an honor to speak to you today during this ceremony. I have to say, when I was told that I was selected to speak today, I wasn't fully sure of how to approach the topic. So I asked my esteemed classmate, Joseph D. Lammert, how I should approach this topic. He said to take the task on the same way he's taken studying for tests during medical school. So, with that in knowledge, that in hand, last night about midnight, I drank 2 Red Bulls as fast as I could and started furiously searching through Wikipedia and Google for the answers to the questions that I sought. However, I already knew what I would talk about today, and my words did not nebulously materialize through frantic probing of the arcades of Google and Wikipedia, but memories of patients I've served, the example of physicians I've sought to emulate, and volunteering at a hospice the last several years. It is my belief that part of our life's journey is about the people who touch us and the impact that they have upon us that molds us into the people we become. If we simply move through our careers as physicians, counting our wins based off the diseases that we treat, we could win or lose every time. However, when we provide compassionate care in treating a person each time, we will win every single time. There's no definition for the word compassion that allows one to fully appreciate the meaning. But I believe it is best understood when seen in action. I first felt it and understood its importance to medicine before medical school as a volunteer at Hospice Compassus in town. There I would visit terminally ill patients, often in great pain and sometimes with no family coming to visit them. There is no medication nor therapeutic treatment I could provide to alleviate the physical nor psychological suffering that their illness weighed upon them. But what I could do was offer companionship and letting them know that they are not alone and that somebody does care about them. As one elderly man dying from lung cancer told me once, the only real time I've been happy today is when you came to see me. You see, Victor Hugo said, the supreme happiness in life is the conviction that we are loved. And sharing such a notion, while useful in multiple facets throughout life, has a special therapeutic role when utilized by the physician serving the patient. It is an attribute of care provided by the noble physician who seeks to go beyond the scope of providing medications and taps into the human element of care. When we have seen physicians, nurses, or other medical staff utilizing this gift, we often make it a personal objective to seek to emulate them. Whether it was Dr. Paul Tatum holding the hand of a terminally ill patient while speaking to her at the bedside, or Dr. Christian Rojas slipping back into a patient's room at the end of the day just to check up on her again. While the observation of such actions has impacted me personally to seek to practice the same type of medicine, it is the effect this type of care has on the patient that ultimately goes beyond the realm of medicine. There is no test that can grade the degree of emotional distress that a patient is in as a result of their disease, nor is there a set dose of compassion, but the utilization of this instrument and simply showing the patient that you, as a physician, are there to take on the burden of and seek to alleviate their suffering is truly something special that is shared by few other professions. You will do extraordinary things in the face of seemingly unsurmountable odds with the aid of compassion and encouragement, and that is bring rest and peace of mind to a patient who is in distress. I will always remember the words of the late Stuart Scott when he said, "When you die, that does not mean you lose to cancer. You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and the manner in which you live." So, in addition to being compassionate, always be conscientious and competent. Never forget the noble role you will take on as you bestow the white coat of the physician and the trust that is placed in your hands. And with such trust, respond in kind by holding yourself to the utmost standard of care you provide and adhere to the highest degree of medical competence. As physicians, we will now be charged as detective, healer, confidant, leader, and teacher. While at times this role will weigh down upon us and you may question your competence, remember that this will be a vehicle that drives you to expand upon your capabilities as a physician. Each one of us today will continue the practice of medicine as generations of physicians before us. And remember that nobody will perfect this art. It is called the practice of medicine for a reason. And now, our life's work will be to seek to ever expand upon our current medical knowledge so as to better serve our patients. So, let us remain blind to fears that we may be inadequate or not fully capable of taking on the honorable role of physician healer. But let us always take respite above all in providing compassionate care to our patients. Work conscientiously by placing love of duty above your inclinations. Education will only take us so far, so deem it an honor to employ and develop the gifts that you have received. Work methodically, peacefully, and in patience, without ever shrinking from the call to serve our patients due to weariness nor difficulty to work. And above all, with purity of intention and unselfishness, unceasingly seek out to provide compassionate care to those who place their trust in your hands. It has been an honor to graduate with you all today. Thank you.
Our invited commencement speaker today is Dr. William Sulzer. Dr. Sulzer is Professor of Clinical Medicine and Director of the Division of Infectious Disease and Fellowship Director in the Department of Medicine at the University of Missouri School of Medicine. His clinical interests are in the management and treatment of HIV/AIDS and the diagnosis and treatment of hospital-acquired illnesses. He has staffed the University HIV Clinic for many years and has served in multiple roles on clinical committees for the health system, the school, and the university. Dr. Sulzer's commitment to medical education is evident by his teaching at every level, going from first year M1 through to fellowship. It is his role as an educator for the medical students that has led to his selection by the class of 2016 as their commencement speaker. Bill has been a member of the Department of Medicine's Education Committee since 1992 and served as block director for the patient-based learning curriculum since 1993. Over the years, students have honored him repeatedly for his expertise as a lecturer, teacher, and educator. He has received 4 awards for Outstanding Lecturer, no fewer than 10 awards for excellence in education as a preclinical and clinical teacher from the Medical Student Advisory Council. He has been the medical student speaker at their graduation banquet on several occasions, and was elected as their investiture marshal by 4 previous graduating classes. Bill was elected to the Alpha Society as a faculty member in 2005. Dr. Salzer regularly inspires students with his dedication to lifelong learning and insatiable appetite for primary and secondary literature. In the patient care setting, he exemplifies the humanistic qualities of a physician that this school tries to cultivate in its students. Simultaneously, he makes working with him fun through his humor and irreverence. Dr. Salzer was born in New Jersey and received his Bachelor of Science in Engineering from Boston University and his MD from New Jersey Medical School. He then completed his residency at North Carolina Baptist Hospital in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, a fellowship in infectious disease at Bowman Gray School of Medicine, and then stayed on in a faculty position before being recruited to the University of Missouri School of Medicine. Please join me in welcoming Dr. William Salzer as the commencement speaker for the class of 2016.
Well, thank you, Dr. Delafontaine, for the nice introduction. I think he exaggerated it a little bit. And again, thank you very much for choosing me. I think you could have done better, but I appreciate the honor and appreciate your respect in that, and congratulations. 4 short years ago, you walked in here, or less than 4 years ago, and now you're today going to be doctors, and you've worked hard to achieve that. It's been a pleasure working with you all. You've all sort of had me babbling up in front of you in front of M105 and S255, and a number of you I've worked in smaller groups as PBL tutors and IPC tutors and APD tutors, and some of you I've had as students on my ward service or on my infectious disease consult service, and enjoyed every minute of it. But again, your med school experience, what we had hoped, to get you to is to become the self-directed learners. I mean, when you walked in here, that first day of PBL was probably an experience for you, okay? You're used to sitting in a classroom and have somebody talking at you, and you would internalize the material and regurgitate it. And here, you were given part of the story, and you had to figure out the rest yourself. And hopefully you can see why it was done that way, because that's what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. Taking a body of data and coming up with a diagnosis and finding a way to fix it, okay? And hopefully you've learned that, okay? Some things you can't fix. I just, sort of compare and contrast it to my medical school experience. I went to the New Jersey Medical School in the heart of Newark, New Jersey, okay? I rolled in there in 1972, about 5 or 6 years after the riots. And again, your parents may remember this if they were alive in 1967 and conscious. But where I went to medical school, it was sort of controversial in that basically it was in the heart of Newark, and the medical school used to be in Jersey City and run by Seton Hall, and the state took it over because Newark said they had this land. Well, they probably didn't tell them that there was people living there, and they knocked down about 5 square blocks to build the medical school. So I think that had something to do with the riot. So it was not a friendly place to be, and Newark is not a great place. But learned a lot there. I mean, basically, my first 2-year curriculum was different than yours. I sat in a chair for 7 or 8 hours a day and took notes, okay? And I guess I learned stuff. But again, when you got into the clinical years, I mean, you learned a lot. I mean, we mostly worked in a city hospital and a VA, okay? And again, things were different then. You know, basically, the residents ruled, okay? And the less you saw of your attending, the happier you were. Because the resident was the boss and he ran the service, and that's how you learned, okay, as a student. And learned a whole lot. Got a lot of hands-on experience. The other thing, I don't know if you've figured it out yet. Hopefully you have. If you don't, you will. In medicine, you will deal with people that are different than yourself, and you learn a great deal about people, okay? You know, talked about diversity. I mean, you deal with people that are just different than yourself, and if you're doing it right, you know everything about this person. You know where they're from and about their families, and that you learn a lot about how they think about things, okay? And I mean, you learn just so much about human nature, and that's a big part of what medicine is, okay? I mean, because if you don't understand that, you know, you're not going to get very far. Because again, you're going to be doing this for the rest of your life, and hopefully you've experienced that. You know, in PBL, you get the paper cases. In clinical medicine, you get whatever comes through the door, okay? And just different things and different experiences. And, you know, hopefully you've learned that, and we've given you the tools to move on, okay? Your residencies, basically, some of you will be staying with us. We're glad to have you. We'll see you around, okay? Others of you are going all over the place, okay? And, you know, hopefully you got your chosen specialty. You are excited about where you are going to. You'll find that there's a big world out there that's outside the borders of the state of Missouri, okay? And it's an exciting time. Again, it's just an experience. The medical school experience is one thing, the residency is, again, another. And basically, it is like medical school. It is a learning experience. It is, again, in terms of what you're going to learn, you are probably going to learn more information per unit time in your residency than you did in medical school, okay? Or more focused things. Again, you're going to focus on whatever your specialty is. And again, you're going to like it, okay? And hopefully, again, you're excited about your specialty and you got what you want and going where it is you want to live for 3 years or 5 years or however many years your residency experience is, okay? I mean, for myself, again, just choices. I always thought going in that I wanted to do internal medicine. Just because our family doctor was one and he was very impressive. And in college, I did a project in cardiology, and I thought I wanted to be a cardiologist, okay? And, you know, did ID as a fourth-year student. I liked it quite a bit, but wanted to be a cardiologist. In my residency, I went there, and it was a very heavy cardiology presence. I saw what cardiologists did. I said, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to spend my life in a dark room wearing a lead apron, okay? And no, it was a heavy thing, and back then, you know, there were no restrictions on admission, so most people that got cardiac caths got admitted, and if you were on the cardiology service, you had 25 patients one day, and the next day you had 15 different ones, okay? They would come in and get cathed. And I just figured out that I like the cognitive specialties, the problem-solving specialties, okay? And, you know, those being like general internal medicine is that way. When you do your medicine residency, I mean, that's what every day, I mean, you get admissions, and you got to figure out, you do your history, you do your physical, you look at your labs. You got to come up with a diagnosis and a plan, okay? And again, sometimes it's straightforward and sometimes it's not. But you keep thinking and you keep working, okay? So again, I got to that and did internal medicine and enjoyed it. And when I got to the end of the road, it was a decision of, okay, do I want to do general internal medicine? And thought about it. One of the experiences that we had in our residency was called AHEC, and you have AHEC here. But AHEC there was, in my third year, they shipped me out to Hickory, North Carolina, and I spent a month working with a group of general internists. And I spent time in their offices and worked their hospital patients. And what I figured out was that I really liked the inpatient internal medicine. I wasn't crazy about the outpatient, okay? And at that time, there was no such thing as a hospitalist. A general internist either, had a group of patients that he saw in his office and followed them in the hospital. So had there been such a thing as a hospitalist, I might have been a hospitalist, okay? But it wasn't there yet. So the other thing was infectious disease. I like that a lot because then again, if you look at the skill set of infectious disease, it's very similar to internal medicine, okay? You have somebody with, something, you have to do a history of physical labs, figure it out, come up with a treatment plan. And basically, when I went into infectious disease, infectious disease was the only specialty in internal medicine where you either cured them or you killed them, okay? This was before there was HIV and all that. So, it was interesting in that you could actually, make some saves, okay? But so I chose to do that, and I did that. And then, again, I'm not entirely right. I decided to go into academics, okay? Because I enjoyed the stimulation. Again, maybe it was just me or paranoid, but I was fearful that if I got into private practice, okay, and I guess the diversity of what you do, okay? Because in the real world, if you're in practice, what do? You do the same thing about every day, okay? Whereas in academics, you do different things, okay? You do research, you do clinics, you do inpatient, stuff like that, and I enjoyed the teaching aspect of things. So I chose to do that, and even beyond that, I decided I wanted to be a physician scientist. So I did a postdoc for a couple of years, and actually had NIH funding, okay? And basically, I did lab stuff, I ran a lab, I published papers, and I had what was called a K-08 grant, which is a training grant. And basically 5 years, and when I got to the end of that, I did not go beyond, okay? At that time, they were funding about 8% of NIH grants, and I had to figure out that I wasn't in that top 8%. Also, I didn't have a job anymore. So that's how I ended up here. I was looking for a job, okay? Dr. Delafontaine, a little wrong, he said I was recruited. I applied here and they took me, okay? And I realized, again, how'd I get here? Well, again, I realized that I was probably a better clinician educator than I was a physician scientist, and that's what I do, and I do it, and I continue to enjoy it, okay, and enjoy the teaching. So again, when you get, through your residency, these are things that you face. Probably the majority of you will go into practice. Again, you start your residency at one level, and then in certain areas you can go beyond. If you do internal medicine, okay, do you want to do subspecialty training? Okay, do you want to be a hospitalist? Do you want to be an outpatientist? And the same thing in many of the others. You can go into deeper things. And it's a whole, you may have some preconceived notion today what you're going to be doing in 3 years, and you may or you may not. Because when you do your residency, you're exposed to a whole bunch of new things, okay? Do you want to continue doing that? Is there some, niche in your area of specialty that really attracts you? And that's the trick, okay? find something you really enjoy doing, okay? And if you do, it's not work, okay? I mean, I look forward to coming to work every day. I still enjoy what I do. And, you know, hopefully you can find that as well. And that's the trick to it, okay? But again, I mean, you know, much lies ahead for you, okay? I guess one thing to realize is, guess what? After today, you are looking at the longest vacation you're going to have until you retire, okay? No, because if you go into medicine, when is the next time you're going to have 6 weeks of unoccupied time? Huh? Unless you take a sabbatical or something like that. So enjoy. I mean, think about what you're going to do. I mean, if you're going to a new place, you might want to move there, get your place fixed up, take a nice vacation, go somewhere you've always wanted to go, do something you've always wanted to do. That could be just sitting on a beach for a couple of weeks and drinking beer or, you know, whatever, okay? But just realize that this next time slot in front of you is going to be the longest free time you have in a very long time, okay? But again, it's you know, I don't know what else to tell you other than, you know, stay interested, okay? Keep learning, okay? Again, like I say, you're here, okay? You know, residency, you will learn a lot more, but there's beyond that, okay? You know, to maintain your state license and to maintain your board certification, you will be required to take CMEs, okay? And basically, that's not hard, okay? You know, you acquire this many CMEs, you put 5 or 10 hours in a year and you're done. But to be good at what you do, again, you know, I'm not entirely right, but I like to read, okay? And if I get free time on a weekend, I mean, I'll sit there and read New England journals for a couple of hours, okay? I'm interested in that stuff. And try to do that, okay? And the same thing, like if, you know, in this day and age of computers and up to date, okay? I mean, shoot, when you were in M3, how many times did you hit up to date in a day? Okay? Okay, up to date is like fast food, okay? You know what I mean? It's like you usually hit it for a fact. I mean, people don't read all the way through it. And for me, anyhow, I mean, I could remember or understand things a whole lot better if I read the whole thing or read a whole article that told me about the pathogenesis. Why is this? Because if I can understand why something is or how it is, I can figure it out better than, okay, this is the dose of whatever for this, okay? So I would encourage you to go beyond, you know, the CME requirements and stay good at what you do. Okay, stay interested, okay? But again, it's just basically this is a great day for you and your families, and I'm sure your families are very proud of you for what you have accomplished. And just keep working hard and enjoying what you do, okay? And really, if you get inspired like that, it's not, the work ain't that bad, okay? But thanks again for having me babble a bit and hope that I made sense today. And congratulations and have a good life and a good career.
So the general public undoubtedly thinks first of the Hippocratic oath at medical school graduation. But there are several similar oaths that are also administered, and many feel the wordings of these alternative oaths are preferable because they are more contemporary. For many years at the University of Missouri School of Medicine, we have selected the Oath of Geneva. This oath is printed on the back of the commencement program. Because of the solemnity of this moment, I ask the students, the platform party, and the audience to rise and follow along as I administer the Oath of Geneva to the class of 2016. Repeat after me. At the time of being admitted as a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to consecrate my life to the service of humanity. I will give to my teachers the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. The health of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me even after the patient has died. I will maintain by all the means in my power the honor and the noble traditions of the medical profession. My colleagues will be my sisters and brothers. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Now I would like to ask Dr. Linda Hedrick, Senior Associate Dean for Education, to come to the podium to lead the next part of the ceremony.
Please be seated. We're nearing the time at which each graduate will be recognized. One by one, we'll invite the class of 2016 to the stage to receive the doctoral hood and the Doctor of Medicine diploma. Wearing a hood as part of an academic regalia signifies achievement of the doctoral degree. The color of the velvet outside of the hood represents the degree the wearer has earned, in this case, green for medicine. In addition, the silk inside lining shows the colors of the school from which the wearer has received the degree. Members of the class of 2016 will receive hoods with a black and gold lining, matching the ones worn by members of the faculty here on stage with us today who are proud alumni of this medical school. Each year, the graduating class honors members of the faculty by electing them as investiture marshals to assist with the donning of the doctoral hoods. And before we proceed, it's my privilege to introduce the investiture marshals for the class of 2016. Will you please rise as I say your name? Dr. Raghav Govindrajaran. Dr. Govindrajan is Assistant Professor of Clinical Neurology. He attended medical school at Bangalore Medical College, neurology residency at the Cleveland Clinic, and then moved to St. Louis to complete a neuromuscular fellowship at Washington University. When Dr. Govindajaran joined the MU faculty a couple of years ago, he immediately distinguished himself as a mentor, teacher, and advisor. And recently, he was appointed as the third-year clerkship director in neurology. His multiple medical student teaching awards already in less than 2 years include awards from the Curriculum Board, both in innovation in education and clinical faculty teaching, the Missouri Medical Student Association Outstanding Teacher Award, election to both the Alpha Omega Alpha and Gold Humanism Honor Societies, 2 national American Medical Student Association Golden Apple Awards, one announced at the Honors and Awards ceremony yesterday, and also awarded yesterday the Leonard Toe Humanism in Medicine Award. Congratulations, Dr. Govindajaran. Next, Dr. Michael McCullough. Dr. McCullough is a faculty member in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. He received his MD and completed his residency here at MU, left us for a little while, but fortunately for us, came back to Missouri in 2006. His academic focus is in education, especially in simulation. And his multiple leadership roles in the medical student education program include block director for patient-based learning, or PBL, director of the program that teaches the gynecology exam to second-year medical students, and the director of a simulation-based elective for fourth-year medical students designed to help them prepare for internship. Dr. McCullough's work has been recognized with awards that include the Curriculum Board Award for Outstanding Course Director, the Medical Student Affairs Council Preclinical Faculty Excellence in Education Award, the Paul C. J. Sun, MD Distinguished Faculty Award, and one last year, election as an investiture marshal. Congratulations, Dr. McCullough. Our third investiture marshal is Dr. Will Rowland. Dr. Rowland is professor of medicine and chief of infectious diseases section at the Harry S. Truman Memorial Veterans Hospital. Dr. Rowland also is associate chief of staff for education at the VA. He obtained his undergraduate degree at Johns Hopkins University and then came to MU for medical school, residency in internal medicine, and fellowship in infectious disease. And he's been a member of our faculty since 1994. Dr. Rowland has served as a co-clerkship director in internal medicine, member and co-chair of the admissions committee, and he's currently the chair of the Committee on Student Promotions. Dr. Rowland also has a long list of teaching awards, including several in the Department of Medicine, particularly for his leadership and clinical teaching in the fourth-year curriculum. He's had 3 Medical Student Affairs Council awards for clinical education, and he has twice before been honored as an investiture marshal at Commencement. Congratulations, Dr. Rowland. This is an important occasion and a joyous one. Please feel free to applaud. As members of the class of 2016 receive their doctoral hoods and diplomas, families, friends, and other well-wishers are encouraged to help make this moment a memorable one. All right, are we ready? Let's go. Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the faculty of the School of Medicine, it is my privilege to present to you the members of the class of 2016.
It's a pleasure and an honor for me and my colleague and friend, Dr. Kimberly Hoffman, to read the names of the graduating class of 2016, our students, our graduates, and soon to be our colleagues. Would the first row please rise and approach the podium? Oais Shakir Abdul Kafi.
Cecilia Albers.
Yazon Algalith.
Matthew Gabriel Bartley.
Lindsay Beth Bauer.
Philip Paul Beck.
Anthony Bell.
Matthew Benage.
Derek Allen Benham.
Dara Day Burke.
Aaron Kenneth Borgmeyer.
Crystal Leanne Brady.
Matthew Dennis Brighty.
Lisa Michelle Brown Cook.
Caitlin Marie Brugenhimke.
Jack Griffin Campbell.
Cynthia Elise Chapman.
Dennis Zhuang.
Lauren Crawford.
Ethan L. Kreider.
Heather Nicole Deischer.
Eric David Don Delaney.
James Dent.
Jenna Diaz.
Alyssa Easter.
Eversmeyer.
Brady Asa Fleshman.
Hannah Freeland.
Joseph Fry.
Brandon Gallimore.
Joshua Geltman.
Daniel Grant.
Adam Ray Grumke.
Jennifer Haslag Minoff.
Alison Marie Hongs.
Jackie Lynn Hersberg.
Nicholas Holt Hopkins.
Cassie Jean Hyde.
Stephen Abraham Johnson.
Megan O'Reilly Kelly.
Kristen Alcorn Killen.
Philip King.
Betsy Coney.
Benjamin G. Ladner.
Joseph Donald Lammett.
Nicholas Lashes.
Victoria Lavassa.
Yelena Levina.
Benjamin Levinson.
Megan Lohr.
Anne Lottis.
Daniel William Lovinger.
Trisha Satonia Niroli Malcolm.
Minha Maturana.
Adam Walter Ramdas Maxwell.
Patrick Brian Mazzi.
Sarah May McElroy.
Lauren Abby Miles.
Emily E. Milford.
Daniel Miller.
Awa Mawafik Mohammed.
Joseph Moore.
Michael Richard Moore.
Nathaniel Moulton.
Ian Newberry.
Nathaniel Nolan.
Christopher Brian Norris.
Patrick Probst.
Stephen Probst.
Matthew Rindo.
Austin Sargent.
Leslie Ann Schock.
Helen Nocky Smith.
Trenton Smolik.
Samuel Franklin Thompson.
Andrew Tran.
Ashley David Santana.
Lila Sarah Wahidi.
Alicia Catherine Webb.
Greg Werner.
Robert Wiggin.
Todd Patrick Williams.
Samuel Lee Wyndham III.
Yaji Yu.
And Dominic B. Zanaboni. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2016.
Dr. Delafontaine, please come forward to confer the degrees on the class of 2016.
Please rise. With authority vested by the Board of Curators, it is my privilege to now formally confer upon each graduating senior the degree of Doctor of Medicine with all of the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, class of 2016. Please be seated. Yesterday, the School of Medicine held its annual Honors and Awards Convocation, and many of these graduates were honored at the convocation. I hope the families were present to enjoy the moment. Your program today includes a list of all of yesterday's award winners. It is our tradition, however, to reserve for commencement some very special awards that I will now announce. First, the Dean's Award for Outstanding Achievement in Academic and Clinical Proficiency. This award is given to the student with the best academic and clinical record throughout medical year. This year, this award goes to Dr. Casey Hyde. Please come forward. The next award is the Holt Leadership Award. This award is provided by two alumni of the School of Medicine, Drs. Jean and Richard Holt. Dr. Jean Holt is a faculty member at the University of Texas in San Antonio, and Dr. Richard Holt is a professor emeritus in the Department of Otolaryngology at the University of Texas Health Science Center in San Antonio. He's also a professor at the Center for Health Ethics and an adjunct professor in the Department of Otolaryngology at the University of Missouri. The Holt Leadership Award is presented to the graduating student who has best exemplified the highest moral, ethical, and leadership traits, and who has served as a peer role model, served in a leadership role in student organizations, and provided service to the School of Medicine above and beyond the normal call. The award winner is chosen by Drs. Jean and Richard Holt from a list provided by the Faculty Awards and Scholarship Committee. This year, they have also decided to give 2 awards, which today go to Dr. Joshua Geltman and Dr. Casey Hyde. Please come forward. The Student Leadership Award. This award is presented to a member of the graduating class who has been selected by a vote of his or her classmates based on the following criteria: evidence of leadership qualities, peer acceptance as potential leader in professional activities, a student who is a doer and one who characteristically assumes leadership in the normal day-to-day activities of the student committee, and community. This award goes to Dr. Joshua Geltman. Now, to close the graduation ceremony, the class of 2016 have chosen Dr. Samuel Windham. Sam, please come to the podium.
So, ladies and gentlemen who are here for us, I want to thank you guys for coming. To you guys, I just want to say, what's up? So I definitely spent more time preparing for this speech than I did for any other test in medical school. So I'm hoping that at least 65% of you guys will like it. I have also been told that I have like a 2-minute limit because there's a couple of you who have steaks waiting for you, so I will try to abide by that. It's been a real privilege to share the last 4 years of my life with you guys. During this time, I feel like we've learned a lot, both about ourselves and kind of the world at large. All of us graduating have sacrificed so much of ourselves, our time, our money, our relationships. We've also asked a lot from those around us, our parents, siblings, significant others, even our children. All of this sacrifice, both what we've made and what has been asked on our behalf, was to further something we all believe in. And this evening represents a huge step forward in all of our stories. I think I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you again to everybody, because I know that med students can be super neurotic and super insane to deal with. So thanks to all of you guys. We could not make it without any of you. So just given a little bit of time to speak, there's some stuff I wanted to tell you guys. I think from an outsider's perspective, our little group is pretty disparate and numerous in the amount of things that we want to do with our lives. Some of us want to go into like homeless outreach in underserved areas. Other people, they want to do research. And then other people, they want to stay in the OR until someone kicks them out of the OR, which I will never understand. Um, so obviously there's one correct career choice, and that is infectious diseases, right? Cleaning up all of your guys' horrible antibiotic usage. Plus I am working on becoming the next Bill Salzer, so. So in all reality, though, I don't actually see us as having all these different goals. I see us all running the same race. We're all taking different routes, but we want to end up at the same finish line. And this one characteristic that we all have is that we have a super strong drive to make things better for everyone around us, which to me is the definition of love. So sacrificing yourself for the better for others. And I really don't think there's a better way to use your life than the service of others. So I was in India for a month. I knew I was going to say that. And we met a guy out there. It was so funny. He was like this 22-year-old dude. He had this sweet leather jacket on, came in on a motorcycle, and on the back was his grandma. She's like 80-something, totally edentulous, just giving out hugs to everybody in the camp, and I loved her. But I was like, this guy, he seems pretty serious. He had like a pompadour and was just really intense. But he came in, and he could speak perfect English. Everyone speaks Hindi over there, and we had a couple med students who could speak it, but we had problems finding translators. But this dude spoke perfect English, so he translated for his grandma. We figured out what was wrong with her. I kind of like took her aside, talked to her, and when I came back, I couldn't find him. And I was like, where did this dude go? So I walk into the room, and he's sitting at another table translating for another patient. And so there's a med student who had been sitting there and hadn't been able to get any work done. He just sat down and started talking to them. And the dude stayed like all day for us, and he just hung out and translated. And at the end of the day, I was like, why'd you do that? And he was like, well, I saw that there was something there I needed to do, and that I could make a difference today, and I thought, why not sit down and do it? And that was just such a huge thing to me. This guy had no idea what he was doing, but he walked in and saw where he could help. And so after I heard that story and kind of talked to him a little bit, I was like, this dude is awesome, and we should all be emulating him. And that's what kind of kickstarted my idea of like what I wanted to talk to you about, which is just service to others and love. And it's really all I want to ask of you guys, tonight and for the rest of your careers, is that you don't forget why we're here as you're traversing your own professional lives. Because I really think we've all chosen to take up this profession out of a sense of love for everyone. In each of our own ways, I think we've come to the idea that the world's a place that needs more compassion and love in it, and each of us decided that it was our duty to provide that. This decision is what I see every time I look in any of your guys' eyes. And it's my hope that you guys recognize it within yourself. In the end, whether you're doing some type of rural outpatient medicine, urban ICU care, psychiatry, pathology, whatever, I think it's really your responsibility to be not only an agent of change in your community, but an agent of love for all those around you. And in every encounter in your life, try to leave things better than they were when you showed up. So, with that, I have confidence that every single one of you are going to be pretty sweet doctors and pretty sweet human beings. So, that's it. And we have the back room at 44 Stone starting at 8:30, and you guys are all invited, so just thought I'd let you know. Thanks, guys.
Oh, that was great. So before we finish, I want to particularly thank all the School of Medicine staff for their assistance with today's event and for all the support they provide for our educational programs. Family, guests, and friends, I'd like to invite all of you to stay for the reception in the atrium of Jesse Hall. I'm happy that you could be here with us today. I hope we'll be able to chat at the reception. Class of 2016, best wishes, and I'd like to hear from you now, a little better than the first time. Is there a doctor in the house?
All right.
Back here at 7:40.